Here we go. Hello. What a busy day. So much stuff going on in the sort of political space. There's been so much. And actually, to be fair, we probably need a bit of a longer show, really, to actually discuss just how much has been going on. Of course, Keir Starmer earlier on today responded in a disgraceful manner as he discussed the situation, the comments from Elon Musk, launched an attack on Tommy Robinson, and then called everybody far right. Of course, after this, there was the debate over the petition. Remember the petition, of course, that went around, that got 3 million signatures, so they had to have the debate. That debate was today. And to be fair, the verdict from there we can speak about a little bit later on. But today's sort of headline for this live stream, guys, is, of course, that Labour could be, or to be forced into a vote on a public inquiry. Now, I've just finished the live stream, of course, with Yvette Cooper, as she spoke about the whole scandal. This came as was an emergency announcement following the Starmer speech. It was an absolute disaster, Starmer's speech. So she took to the House of Commons, of course, and was asked a ton of questions from various MPs. To be fair, the Conservatives, the Shadow Home Secretary, asked some good questions, and we're going to get to that in a little bit because that's what our main headline's about. Lee Anderson asked some decent questions as well. There was some there, of course, asking some good questions, but again, as you do with Labour MPs, we just got a bag of air in return, which was super annoying. However, following this, guys, as stated, I mentioned the Conservatives there with regards to the situation and what's happening on their side. And basically, they're going to be launching they're going to be forcing Labour to a vote, get MPs to vote for this public inquiry. Again, Yvette Cooper was still in the House of Commons saying that she didn't want they weren't going to be doing a public inquiry. This was carried out 10 years ago, blah. The same sort of stuff that you were getting from Starmer earlier on. However, one of the Tory MPs came out and spoke that they are going to do something following up from what Kemi Badenoch said. But basically, the Conservative MPs are now set to attempt to force Labour to vote on a public inquiry into the rape gang scandal after putting forward an amendment to the Children's Wellbeing Bill. In a fiery post on X, the Tory leader Kemi Badenoch backed a full nation inquiry into the scandal. She said, "I was very serious when it said it's time to get justice for the victims. So on Wednesday, Conservatives will put forward an amendment bill to the Children's Wellbeing Bill to require a full national inquiry into the gang's grooming scandal. If the amendment is selected, I hope MPs from all parties will vote to support the inquiry so we can do the right by the victims and end the culture of cover-ups." This, of course, was then echoed in that sort of in Parliament, in the House of Commons, with the Shadow Home Secretary, as he said the same thing. He grilled Yvette Cooper, by the way, and again, I don't necessarily always stand up for the Tories, but yeah, he did his job, grilled him, and again, took away this rhetoric that Keir Starmer labelled everybody as far right today, that wants justice for these victims and wants a public inquiry. So again, took that comment away. So yeah, it does look as though that Labour could be forced into a vote, which would be very big. We'll find out, of course, on Wednesday in Prime Minister's Questions how far that will actually go. But, as I said, a good showing in terms of that was a waste of time, really, the Yvette Cooper thing, making that announcement. It was just the same old garbage that she was sort of peddling, as Keir Starmer did earlier on today. So if you've not watched it, you don't necessarily need to watch it. There's a few clips, maybe the Tory MP, Lee Anderson's clip, that went out there. But apart from that, it was pretty much a waste of time. So if you didn't watch it, don't bother. However, yeah, as I said, guys, there was also something at the same time. I don't know if they were trying to divert attention, but at the exact same time, of course, there was a live debate for the petition. Of course, remember the general election petition that got 3 million signatures. And for those of you that didn't watch that, essentially there was a debate. Yes, there was some good points made and all this kind of stuff. But the kind of verdict as such, which was stated at the start, is that there is no way that there is going to be a general election. However, what the MPs in there were trying to get over in terms of the opposition, Nigel Farage and co and other party members, they were trying to get it over and say, well, they've went against their sort of manifesto with absolutely everything, lied, all this kind of stuff, and this should be a warning that the people aren't happy with the actions that they're currently going about and doing. So yes, there were some good points made in there, but of course, for those of you that were hoping that a general election would get called just off the back of a petition, obviously that wasn't going to be the case. We did say that before, and again, I haven't got the full 10-minute speech right now of him explaining as to why that's not the case. But again, what he said was it's pretty much impossible, and that would never be the case because people have had a general election vote, etc., etc. And the only way to have a general election is if they call it. I think someone dissolves Parliament or something else. Sorry, I'm not. I've been snowed under with too much stuff. I can't remember all the details. But yeah, that was the kind of conclusion from that sort of general election speech. But again, breaking news is that Labour could be forced to vote on a public inquiry, which would be very, very good. And I hope most MPs do back that. I hope they do go out and back that, and hopefully we can all get some justice and bring the people that were responsible for covering up these heinous crimes to justice as well. They need to have closure, and they need to be punished for what they did. So I'm all for this, and hopefully I do think the vast majority, apart from the Labour Party, are all for these public inquiries as well. So here's hoping that the Conservatives can make this happen and force them into it. I think there'll be a lot of support in the House of Commons with regard to it. But let's have a little look at some comments, guys, before I go. But yeah, you need to make a bingo card for Labour's word salads. I think that might be coming up very, very soon. I'll probably get that going eventually. Ancient Man said an inquiry should be done by people that are not from Britain. I do not trust our MPs, councillors, police, judges or MPs. Shaz says they are very scared. Public health inquiry in Birmingham urgently needed, and other UK cities about the rubbish and rats now 2 weekly collection. The correlation between the cover-ups and Labour being in power, that's the problem. The cover-up was political. This should be scared, the whole lot of them just been exposed. I'll have to watch that in a moment. Get some sleep. I am absolutely going to sleep right now. I am going to sleep very, very soon, having some rest. But yeah, I think that's it, guys. So the breaking news with regard to that situation is that Labour could be forced into voting on a public inquiry. This is obviously headed up by the Conservative Party. This was announced by Kemi Badenoch and, of course, was echoed by the Shadow Health Home Secretary, in Parliament earlier, just a moment ago. So we'll find out on Wednesday what happens with that. But thank you guys for tuning in. That's it for the night. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. I'll see you next time. Take care. Look after yourselves.